Hey everybody, my name is Sharon Quinn and I'm also known as the original runway diva, and you are watching Model Behavior. Class is officially in session. Today my guest lecturer has spent the last 10 years as a celebrity stylist and image consultant. During his years in the fashion industry, he has sharpened both his creative eye and his skill to make his name and design stand out. Welcome Carlton Spence to Model Behavior. Hey, honey, how you doing?
I'm fine. Glad to be here, Sharon.
Now, you know, we were chatting it up
Yes.
before the camera started rolling. So what I do here is I always start off asking folks how you got started doing what it is that you do.
Okay, how did I get started doing what it is I do?
Well, you do a lot of things, though.
Yeah,
so.
I wear a lot of hats these days. But how I really got started, Sharon, I was in visual merchandising for about 8 years. And in 2002, I decided to leave that world because I got bored, basically, styling mannequins. So I said, you know what, I really want to start styling real people. And I had the opportunity to meet Lisa Walker. She was the director of Herald Square Special Events at the time.
I think I know her. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And so I met her. And I expressed to her that I was interested in styling but had never done it professionally. And she said, you know what, I'm going to have you shadow one of our stylists. We have a bridal show coming up in New Jersey. It was in Bridgewater, New Jersey at the time. So at the time I was still working for Brooks Brothers. I took the time off to assist the stylist. She gives me a phone call the day before the event, and she says, Carlton, would you mind styling the show? I said, well, she said, the stylist had an emergency, and we need you to style the show. So I rose to the occasion, and I did the pull successfully, and I really enjoyed it. I got really great energy from being behind the scenes and pulling looks for the models and doing the run of show and all of that. And so about a month later, I decided to take a leap of faith, and I left my job.
You quit?
I quit.
Just off of that little feeling you got from styling?
Yes,
Okay.
I quit. I called her the next day. I said, Lisa, if you have availability, I'm available because I just left my job. She called me the next day, and this is a true story. She had me on a conference call with 4 of her colleagues, and she says, Carlton, we have 4 shows lined up for you. And that was the beginning of my career in
You're talking
styling.
about stepping out on faith.
Yes.
I'm just not that brave.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just not gonna walk in one day and say, I quit.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
Well,
but.
you know, I had a conversation with God, and God really, it was a conversation that was the one moment that I really heard his voice, and it was time for me to go. And I remember having a conversation with God, and I remember I remember saying to him, well, if I leave, I'm gonna have to really depend on you completely. And because I'm not going to get unemployment because I quit.
Right. Oh, right. But it all worked out.
It all worked out. So some 14 years later, here I am.
14?
14. I left Brooks Brothers in 2002. So actually 13 years later, it'll be approaching 14 years next year that I've been a freelance stylist.
Okay. Now, how do you... I don't even know how to put this. Okay. What is it that drives you that you're so passionate about this particular thing? What is it that styling does for you?
Okay, what does styling do for me? My mantra is I enhance people. I don't transform them. I enhance what's already within them. And when I can transform someone from just looking average or regular to looking fabulous, it just gives me a high that I really can't explain. Because I feel like not only am I making them look good, but it's almost like visual therapy. It does something for their self-esteem as well.
Visual therapy. Okay,
yeah,
I like
I call
that.
it visual therapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are there things that you like in particular to play with? Now, I've seen you dressed down today. You're trying to fool everybody. But you like color.
I love color.
And textures and things like that.
Yes.
Is that what you do when you're styling people?
It's funny that you say that. One of my clients is Paul Brunson and Associates. It's a matchmaking firm. So I actually do virtual fashion consultations via Skype for clients that live out of state, and I do personal fashion consultations for clients that want to come to New York. And color is the very first thing that I always suggest to my clients. Because
people are afraid of it.
People are afraid of color. Women, 90% of their wardrobe is always black. They're afraid to wear color. They don't think they look right in color, but color always brightens up a person's appearance. I can look at someone's skin tone and say, you'll look great in red, or you look great in jewel tones, or gold jewelry will complement your skin, or whatever the case may be. And once you get it on them, you see their entire face brighten up. And
well, I'm a big fan of color as I sit here in beige and all these muted tones. I like bright colors, and I like patterns and prints and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you know, fashion industry says if you're big, if you're over a certain size, you should sort of stray away from things
Which
like
I don't
that.
think is true. I feel that you have to dress according to your personality, I feel.
I agree with that.
And yes, there are certain rules, but rules are meant to be broken. I feel that yes, they say, for example, a plus-size woman shouldn't wear horizontal stripes. I don't feel that that's true. She can wear it on certain parts of her body, maybe not all over, but certain parts of her body, it will actually add interest, if you will, to the look. But with that being said, I feel that in fashion, rules are meant to be broken. I think you're supposed to have fun with fashion.
Absolutely.
I think it's supposed to enhance your personality. But aside from styling, there's just so many different things that I'm doing now.
I will let you go ahead and do your own segue. Like what?
Oh my gosh. So, of course, I still style runway events for Macy's and Nordstrom. I travel extensively with Nordstrom. I travel almost every other week now with them in the South. I just came from...
and they're doing like trunk shows?
They call them beauty trend shows.
Okay.
Okay, where they combine the national beauty representatives for, like, for example, Lancome, and will be paired with a model, and they'll have like 2 beauty trends, whether it's like the bold lip or, and they'll have 2 scenes where they'll feature the beauty person from that line paired with a model. So my responsibility is to dress the models and do the run of show, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm doing like 6 or 7 of those shows this season.
So you're traveling a lot?
A lot. Like I'll be in Colorado on Friday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was just in, where was I last weekend? I was just in Tampa last weekend. And then 2 weeks ago before that, I was in Houston. And 2 weeks before that, I was in Atlanta. So...
And you teach?
And I teach. So I teach at LIM College. I'm an adjunct professor. I teach fashion styling on Mondays. And now I'm teaching, in addition to fashion styling, I'm teaching visual merchandising, communicator of the brand, on Wednesday in the graduate studies department.
Oh, okay. You do a lot, Carlton.
Yeah.
So what... Now you are totally living your dreams right now.
I am.
Is there an ultimate goal for you? Is there something that you maybe want to do at some point that you aren't doing now?
I actually want to do television, believe it or not.
As in having your own show, or?
I don't know whether it's having my own show or being on a reality show.
Yeah.
Not necessarily reality, but like creative reality, meaning like a show centered around stylists or people that are creative, like hairstylists, makeup artists, stylists, like that type of reality show. Like, I mean, I know there's a lot of shows that, whereas stylists will do makeovers, and I think that that's been overdone. But I feel like maybe there's a show where you're mentoring someone younger or coming up who really wants to be a stylist. Like maybe you're imparting your knowledge and your wisdom into that person. And
that's a good
that
idea.
type of spin on it, because that hasn't been done. Well, maybe it will be done now that I've
now that you done said it. Okay. Have you written this down, the concept down?
I haven't, but it actually just literally just came to me. No, seriously. In talking to you. I've been wanting, because people have always said to me, Carlton, I see you on TV. I mean, I've done segments before. I've done segments with Pat Battle on her show years ago. I've done a segment on Celebrity Catwalk before. So I've done a segment for Macy's with the AMH. I believe it's it's like that Weather Channel. It's like a
So
they had
you
a
just
fashion
need
segment.
that connector.
I just need that connector to make it all. Yeah.
We just go ahead and put that out there.
Out in the universe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you would do well in that, because I would love to see somebody follow you, just so I can see how it is that this fabulosity comes into place. Because you're always well put.
Well, thank you.
And now, have you always had a thing for?
I have. Well, I'm from Springfield, Massachusetts, by the way.
Didn't know that either. Okay.
I'm from Springfield, Massachusetts. I've been in New York since 1995. So
Okay.
that makes 19 years. May of 1995. May of this year made 19 years since I've been in New York. And I'm from Springfield, Massachusetts. It's a small city. There wasn't a lot of fashion for me growing up. I was really conservative, into polo. Ironically, I got best dressed and most sophisticated in high school.
I'm not surprised.
So my interest in fashion really started really early. I started sewing prom gowns when I was 14 years old.
You know, I'm glad you said that you sew.
Yes,
Because I didn't
sew.
know that until I read the bio that I searched for.
Yeah, I used to sew a lot. I made prom gowns, wedding gowns, but then my temperament changed as I got older.
How so?
How so? Meaning, when you sew a custom-made garment, a lot of people, it seems like customers get really picky about the details. And I'm very meticulous just by nature. So whenever I make something, it almost looks store-bought. However, some clients will be, oh, the lining doesn't match, the lining seam doesn't match the outside seam. And
What?
yeah, so my temperament became.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you sew this yourself.
How about
okay?
that?
How about you replace the line?
Yeah.
That's why I don't sew, okay? Because I don't have the temperament for that
I don't have
either.
the temperament anymore for that.
And you don't get the desire to
I get the
just
desire
whip
to
something
sew
up?
things for myself, and I do that every now and then for myself because
Okay.
I feel that menswear has become. There has been some excitement in menswear, I should say, as far as the use of color, the use of fabrics, different fabrics, but as far as the silhouettes really don't change. And I feel that there's an opportunity in menswear. So I'll make different, like I just made a blanket scarf for myself.
What's a blanket scarf?
So a blanket scarf, it's about the length of, it's about 3.5 yards long.
Okay.
And it has pockets. And I actually got the inspiration from Fendi. I was in Soho this summer, and I got the inspiration from Fendi. Well, the Fendi scarf was $2,300, and my version was $140.
Oh, I wish you had brought that so I could see it. That's
Yeah, it's a little heavy to wear on camera, though, but
Real-
it's fabulous.
so. It's
though.
literally like
Yeah, it's literally like a blanket, and you can wear it, a lot of different ways. So pieces like that, timeless pieces like that, I would, delve in or choose to make for myself, just for fun.
your hat game is sick too. I'm a
Well,
little
thank you.
sad you didn't wear a
Well,
funky
I
little
didn't want to wear
hat
fedora
today.
on set,
But now, you are a graduate of University of Mass
Yes, ma'am.
at Amherst
Yes.
with a bachelor's in fashion marketing.
Yes.
Is that fashion marketing? That's like the visual.
No, well, see, fashion marketing is more so the business side of fashion. Initially, I wanted to go into fashion buying.
Okay.
So just to rewind a little bit, when I first got out of college, I was in an executive training program my senior year, and I did an executive training program with Jordan Marsh back in Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I was placed as a sales manager for about a year in Trumbull, Connecticut. I hated it. Hated being on the selling floor. Then I moved from Trumbull, Connecticut to New Jersey, and I went to another executive training program with Lord & Taylor as an assistant buyer.
Okay.
Hated that.
Why?
I was in the buying office for about 6 months, and I hated it because I thought being a buyer was selecting beautiful clothes, going to showrooms and fashion shows. That's 10% of the job. Being a buyer is really running a business. It's about markdown dollars and advertising dollars and what's selling and what's not selling. It's a business. You're running a business, and if what you bought for that department doesn't sell, then you're responsible for that.
What you mean
Meaning, I mean, you're responsible for the bottom line. Like as a buyer, your raise is contingent on whether
the stuff you buy sells. Wow.
Whether you make the margins that you say you're going to make.
And you discovered very quickly that wasn't what you wanted.
Exactly.
That's like me working as a booker for a modeling agency.
Okay.
Yeah, it took 6 months. I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
This is not what I wanted to do.
Exactly.
Because it's not glamorous. It's a lot of cold calling and trying to drum up business.
Exactly.
And I didn't like that at all.
Exactly.
All right. So design. Wait a minute. Personal style cannot be duplicated, only enhanced. We talked about that.
Yes. That's my mantra.
Go.
Okay, so I'll expand on that. Personal style, it can't be duplicated. It can only be enhanced. So I feel that whenever I work with a client, just today I got off the phone with a client, and I do what I call wardrobe closet consultations, and you can't build someone's wardrobe unless you go into their closet and see. That's what tells you what they're about, whether a woman likes dresses or whether she likes pants, what color she gravitates towards. You really get to know someone by delving into their closet. And I feel that you can't build someone's wardrobe until you do that.
But how long does that take?
About 4 hours. A minimum of about 4 hours.
They must not have a lot of stuff if it only takes 4 hours.
Well, that's just the starting point. It can go anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. I've never done a consultation that's lasted 8 hours. That's really long. But I work pretty fast. I'm pretty organized. So I can do a closet consultation in about 4 hours.
Now, when you say closet consultation, that means you're going through going, oh, yeah, we could lose this. Let's lose this. Mm-hmm. We'll put this in the maybe pile.
Exactly.
How much, what's the word I'm looking for? Resistance do you get?
Oh, yes.
Because I know there's some.
There's a lot of resistance that you get from clients, that they get emotionally attached to pieces that they may have had in college, or pieces that they feel they may fit into again in some lifetime.
And how do you get them to part with? Because this is, I'm fishing, because this is a big problem with me.
Okay.
Yeah, that looked good back in '96.
Right.
You should probably get rid of it now because it doesn't fit you right.
Well, the disclaimer that I use before I even start, I said I have a discussion with the client and say, listen, there's some pieces that I'm going to suggest that you part with, and we're going to make a Goodwill pile that you're going to donate to Goodwill. And I want you to promise me that you're going to get rid of these clothes so that we can make room for all the new beautiful pieces that we're going to add to your wardrobe. Is it part two where you actually go? Yes, there's a part two. So the part one is going through the closet. The part two is making a list of all the pieces that I think that client needs to enhance the pieces that they already have to build their wardrobe. It's about building their wardrobe.
Now, is it person specific, or are there just certain pieces that everybody should have in their wardrobe?
It's person specific, because I ask them whether or not they're building their leisure wardrobe, whether they're building their work wardrobe, or whether they're going to a special event or occasion. Mm-hmm. So there's 3 different categories that I ask what they want to build upon, and that will then decide on what pieces I feel they need. Because everyone's lifestyle is different. Like they say every woman needs a little black dress, or every woman needs certain pieces in her wardrobe, and that may be true, but it really also depends on what that woman does for a living, for work. She may have a very casual work environment where she doesn't have to dress up. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
You have any nightmares of closet cleansings? It's because you ain't been in my house yet.
Not really. I think my clients try to kind of clean their closets and organize it before I get there so they won't be embarrassed.
You're not coming to my house. Okay. So you say that you've always loved fashion and it's in your blood. What does that mean?
Yes. I can remember being 11 years old. I remember this specifically. Do you remember this store called Chess King? Okay, this is back in the early 80s, because I was in high school at the time. I graduated high school in, I don't know if I want to say that on the camera.
It's all right.
I don't want to say that on TV.
It's okay.
But I remember in ninth grade asking my mom, I'm like, you know, can you just give me the money so I can buy my own clothes? I remember looking through magazines, and I would look at a look and say, how can I duplicate that look at a very early age? And then I would go shopping looking for those specific pieces.
Wow.
So that's basically styling, but I didn't even know it was styling back then. I didn't even know what a stylist was that early on until I moved to New York.
And it's it's definitely a gift. That much I've learned.
It is.
Being a model stylist is crucial.
People think that, you know, it's funny that you say that. Styling is a gift, and in the age of everything is instant, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, with the influx of social media, I feel that the younger generation, when I say that, meaning the millennials, I feel that because they feel that they can dress themselves and they have a great sense of style, they feel that that deems them a stylist, and that is so wrong.
Oh my God.
That's so wrong.
You want to waste some money? Do a photo shoot without a stylist and see what you get.
Exactly.
Because you think you onto something, and you look at your pictures. I did this when I first started my stuff. Okay, I spent all this money, not one photo.
Right.
Had to scrap the whole shoot.
Exactly.
That was the first and last time I did a shoot without a stylist, so I know how important
you have
they
to know
are.
how to dress different body types. You have to know what colors work for people, what silhouettes work on different shapes, it's a lot that goes into it. That goes into
And
styling.
you have access to clothing that other people
That
don't
too, and also having credit, because a lot of times showrooms, they're not going to lend to you if it's not for editorial. I do, like in my line, on my end of it, I do a lot of album cover shoots. So if you're telling a showroom you're doing an album cover shoot, a lot of times you're not giving them credit, so they don't really want to lend to you. So going forward,
I did not know that.
yeah. So you have to have your own credit.
So when you put people on album, when you dress people for album covers, the clothing company doesn't get a credit
they
for that?
do not.
Not even a liner note?
They do not.
Why?
The record labels just don't give the designers credits. They will give the creative team credit, for example, the hairstylist, the makeup artist, the stylist, the photographer, but they will not give credit to the designers.
That's odd because, well, for me, back when I was buying albums, you know, you see the outfit and you want to know where you can get that outfit
exactly.
from. So that sounds like a lot of work if they're not telling you
where to go.
Where to go.
Well, that's what editorial, quite frankly, is for. That's what you'll go to a Details magazine or GQ for that. But for an album cover, you're styling that artist, you know, to create a mood or a look for that cover. And I understand that, and I agree with you, but they don't do that.
That is so weird to me.
So with that said, you better have good credit. You better have a corporate American Express card or a small business American Express card, because if you want to buy that $5,000 jacket or coat or whatever the case may be, you need the credit to be able to buy that and return it. I shouldn't have said that on TV.
No, I've said it before, honey. You're not saying anything I have not said.
Yeah,
this is the business.
It
Folks
is.
know this stuff go on. This is what we do. I can't afford a $5,000 coat.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm gonna buy it, wear it for the shoot,
And I'm going to
take it
return
right
it.
back.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just throw out a random question.
Okay.
State of fashion today. You got some thoughts?
The state of fashion today.
Because I got my own thoughts, but I want to hear yours.
The state of fashion today, it's a lot different when I was growing up in the 80s, when I was in high school. Like, I grew up watching Ebony Fashion Fair when fashion shows were about drama and entertainment. And now with technology has really changed fashion.
Yes, it has.
Meaning the internet. That means we now have access to a whole world of fashion that we didn't have access to before. Meaning we can watch fashion shows on style.com. We didn't have that access back in the 80s. So that means you can just sit in your living room and watch it on your computer. So I say that to say that you now, with fashion high fashion being so easily accessible, it kind of diminishes the value of it to me now.
That's interesting.
Meaning, so you have celebrities now that are doing their own clothing lines now, and musical artists launching their own clothing lines now, who've never gone to design school, who don't know a houndstooth from a herringbone pattern. And it's frustrating for someone who is really passionate about fashion and style, and someone who studied it formally and has a degree in it, someone who's worked in it for almost 30 years. It's frustrating to see if you just have the money and the I should say the clout behind you, or the followers behind you.
You can just go
ahead
with
and
no kind of design background, just get a
whatsoever.
clothes. You know, I've had quite a few designers on here and a couple of stylists, and they have all said this exact same thing. And I've had people come in the studio that have desires to, I wanted to create my own clothing line.
Yeah.
Do you sew? No.
Do you sketch?
No.
Do you?
So how are you going to do it? Well, I'm just going to tell someone what I want and have them make it.
Exactly. But that's not designing. Like, I don't think people even know what couture is anymore.
Oh, no. I see that slapped all over the place, and I'm so clear that they don't know what couture is.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're never going to go back to that.
I agree. I think
that the glory days of fashion is just about, it's pretty much gone.
It's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
It's pretty much gone. So that's kind of where I see fashion going. Yes, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it is still glamorous. However, I feel that true designers like Yves Saint Laurent and what other designers that I love that like the details, like Balenciaga and
you're never going to see that stuff
you're just
again.
not going to see it again.
Yeah.
Like even when Alexander McQueen died, if you look at Alexander McQueen's line now, it's not the same when he was alive.
And that's a shame.
Yeah.
We are almost out of time.
Wow.
Even though you don't
go fast.
I told you there'd be some music, but I don't hear it. Anyway, we are almost out of time. I'd like to thank my guest, Carlton Spence, for sharing his industry knowledge with us today. Now, before I go, as always, I'd like to leave you with a few thoughts. 1, remember that you can't change the game until you first learn the game. 2, always surround yourself with positive people and positive things. 3, do what you love and love what you do. And lastly, be who you are. But be who you are tastefully. Always have a little class about yourself. Now don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Thanks for watching Model Behavior, and I'll see you next week. Class is officially dismissed. Bye, y'all. See that?